Hello there, my name is Ben, and I thought I'd do an update video because I haven't done one of these in a bit. And we're going to be talking Two Down, Quiet One, another project, Portrait, Tragedy of Time, Call of Duty, Play the Game, and some other stuff as well. So let's start at the most recent venture, which is Two Down, which is still underway. Obviously, we finished recording now, which you may have noticed us put out some socials about that. But that doesn't mean the process has ended necessarily. Like, there's still quite a lot of work to be done. Right now, I'm editing up a single because I've got some dates for you as well to give you a kind of time frame for some of this stuff. Because a lot of you, I've got something called Ask FM, which a mate recommended me to use because I get quite a few questions. And the kind of, not number one maybe, but one of the highest kind of asked questions, or most frequently asked questions, is when is this coming out? When is this coming out? It's just, I'm one man trying to do quite a lot, so I have to really diarise everything I do, and I'm not really used to doing that either. I find it quite difficult, but it seems to be working at the moment, and we're getting a lot of stuff done. So I'm working on the first single. There's going to be two singles from the Two Down album called The Two Lost Boys. The first is, I'm not going to say what either of them are called, but you may have heard a bit of this one before. I think we played it. I don't even know. Yeah, you might have done. And then the other song you do know, but you haven't heard like this version of it. Both who have music videos, which I'm going to talk about at the end. And so we're kind of done. It's just we're kind of prepping the projects now, the kind of Pro Tools projects, so that we can go in and have them mixed and all that kind of jazz up in London. So that we're going to mix the first single next week, 13th and 14th, up in Londinium. And then there's a gap because I'm then recording another project, which I can't name because I'm under NDA. I'm then recording another project between the 15th and 22nd, which is ideal actually because we can't all be in the studio at the same time anyway. And then after that, we go back into... No, we go to a different studio, I think, at that point. The 27th of April, we go into a different studio to the 15th of May to finish, to record... to mix the Two Lost Boys album. And then after that period of time, we've got until the 26th, 27th of May to live with the Two Lost Boys. Originally, the mastering date was set for the 14th of May. That's now had to be pushed back to the 2nd of June. So you should have the Two Lost Boys relatively soon after the 2nd of June. It will be complete on the 2nd of June. Of course, then it needs to be pressed up and things like that, but that stuff takes just quick, you know. So expect it in and around then, but expect two singles before that. Within that time frame of, you know, April, May, June, I'm going to be tracking a Quiet One EP. From the album, from the EP cover, you may assume that it's themed. It's not a themed EP. It's just one of the songs. Kind of needed to be on the cover, I think, but don't let the cover dissuade you into thinking that it's a themed EP. It's not. I'm really looking forward to doing that because like we've had this with this Two Down record is like 180 tracks of just strings, like per song. This is so like it's huge scores and huge sweeping sections and really cool stuff. Oh, does it? I wonder if I can play you something anyway. If I highlight just strings, yeah. That's not all strings, is it? No. Even that's not all strings. Ah, is that going to be enough?
But I thought it was you I was protecting.
This is a song called Heart Shot. Turn Crow off. And you can hear we've bounced these strings down. This was about 140 strings that we've bounced down to a kind of workable medium. But there's like sweeping sections, and this is actual pizzicato of a full quartet, which is quite cool. all that purple is strings as well. I forgot to solo that for you. But yeah, like there's a lot of strings in the Two Down album. So going to Quiet One, where it's like me, a guitar, sometimes a bass, occasionally a piano. Like that's just a welcome breath of fresh air, because you know these are kind of super projects. These are likely going to be the biggest projects. I hope not to. I said that before, that this is kind of the most I'm going to step into arranging and songwriting on this scale, but maybe not. It's just when it's a one man army doing this, it's a lot of work. Like it's me staying up from like 8:30 at night to 5 in the morning, just editing strings, just editing quartet, cellos, gang vocals, choir. We tracked everything real, like no MIDI instruments, no piano MIDI instruments. There's a couple of synths. Obviously, they are actually no MIDI synths either. It's all real synths. Like everything is real, which takes a lot of know-how, a lot of preparation, and not know-how on my behalf, but working with decent arrangers, and you know, it's just a really lengthy process. So then, I'm really looking forward to Quiet One, because it's like the kind of stuff you can go, and then it's kind of mixing it and done. That's like, it's easy, really easy. So and hopefully that will reset me to get ready to do some slightly more serious stuff. So the Quiet One tracking is only the 18th and 20th of May. Sorry, 18th to the 20th, so 18th, 19th and 20th of May. Here as well, there's going to be people here helping, but on the whole it's going to be a really interesting, I think Jack's coming down as well, which would be nice. It's going to be a really interesting project, and there'll be strings on that likely as well, but obviously not on this scale. That's all that I've got in terms of diarised stuff, but I'm saying diarised, by the way, not anything else. I wasn't trying to do anything. There's also other stuff on the way. There's a project that I do that's got a song. Oh, it's not really a song, is it? It's like noise, and it's called Ev or Eav. It doesn't matter how you say it. It doesn't matter because it's not a word. It is a word. It's just you don't know what the word is. And Eav, if we call it Eav, it's probably easier. But EAV, and that'll be launched with no publicity. I won't mention it once. It will just be available soon. So look out for that if you want. Just listen to like the preview. You don't even have to buy it. It's alright. Then Portraits and Tragedy. Sorry, I don't know what the fuck. Got like a headache. It's weird. Portraits. We are 3 songs deep, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're writing portrait songs, that's a lot of portrait songs. You know, they're long. They are so complicated that it's getting to the point. I actually got to the point with from 4.28 where I had to literally play the song so much to write the song that it became muscle memory, and that's a very apparent issue with portraits. Like that music video we put out, I was playing that live, and there is a version where I'm actually playing that live. The version you're looking at is me actually playing it live, but of course it's got the single version on top of the video, if you know what I mean. But I can play it live like I never thought I'd be able to play it, because it gets to the point where all I'm doing is focusing on the vocals, and my body is, it's like detached and doing its own thing on guitar, because it's changing time signature, riff, a couple of times key, and I don't know that. Like I'm not, at least I don't think I am consciously making an effort to do that. It doesn't feel like it. It's just I played it so much that it literally becomes muscle memory. So a lot of the stuff is like that, and the intention with Portraits is to do an album, or at least start and get an album relatively, near completion before the end of the year. But I thought it'd be nicer if we kind of released single after single that built into an album, which, you wouldn't have to buy the album by the end of it, but it would be like a nice collection of those singles that you heard. I haven't spoken to John about that because we've both been, so I've been with Two Down, he's been busy teaching. But we're both very much into that, and that leads me on to Tragedy. I'm well up for doing. I'm well up. There's hopefully going to be more Tragedy stuff soon. Joey fell off the face of the earth. We're trying to get hold of him, but So hopefully he comes back to the land of the living, because there's some stuff with Tragedy that's quite good. I would change a lot about Tragedy, and likely will change a lot about Tragedy. I'm particularly interested in basing that. I'm not convinced, and I have, since the gang vocal day, subsequently heard that other people aren't convinced that I'm the right singer for Tragedy. I don't know about that. I think there was one point where I genuinely didn't like the way I was someone just Skyped me, and I don't know what he's talking about. Or I didn't like my kind of performance, I guess you'd call it. So I'm looking at maybe upping sticks as the vocalist, and we can find someone else. And I'd like to bass it and produce it and mix it and all that stuff still. Because I'd wish I'd mixed the EP. Looking back on it, no slight against him, but it was a kind of makeshift EP. We did all the drums in here and stuff, and I know how to mix those drums. I've been doing it for years and making those drums in this room sound good. There are little things you can do to help with that, and I'm not sure Tim quite appreciated how makeshift the songs were at the time, and I really wish I might end up kind of mixing one of the songs and seeing what I could do with it, because Z1 was done in here. Well, the drums for Z1 weren't done in here, but Z3 was done in here. Z2 was done everywhere. I know how to make this room work, and it was a bit unfair on giving that to Tim, I think, as a kind of introduction, because it was not like, it's not like playing with shit. There is this kind of sounding engineering and mixing proverb, which is don't play with shit, which is don't bother mixing something that already sounds like a pile of shit, because there's you're going to spend too many hours and waste too much time doing it. And although it wasn't shit, like we're recording, we're using the best quality stuff available. The drummer at the time, as Joey will attest to, really didn't fit with our vibe, and he really took a lot of, edited it so much. You should have heard the originals, but there's a lot of drum editing to make it sound how we wanted it, basically. And that's a shame, because that was the first thing to do on the EP as well, which really brought the mood for me down, because I was sat here like 5 hours per song just cutting up snare drums, kicks, and I didn't appreciate that at all, which is a shame, because actually the songs came out really well. Like the songs, maybe not the mixes or whatever, or the sound of the songs, but the songs themselves were good, and I think that we could find a really good basis to take that forward. I wouldn't say Tragedy pushes anything like creatively, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thing. It sounds cool, like it sounds awesome. So yeah, that's another project, and I don't know what the plan is with that. I think there may be an album plan. We haven't really discussed it in a while. I haven't got hold of Joe in a while, so but we'll work something out, and that'll be coming at the end of the year. There's another album from a project, same project as Yav, which has an album but is currently in limbo, and has been in limbo for about 4 months now because of really specific parts of the record, which is getting me really riled up, because I'm just ready to kind of get it out there. And there are probably correct observations saying that we shouldn't be saying some of these things at this current time and climate, especially with like a war on and stuff. Because you don't have no idea what I'm talking about, but like there's there's a lot of things in this record that really apparently I need to be more sensitive with. Nothing like racist or anything or Islamophobic, not even to do with religion. It's nothing like that. I immediately thought you were assuming that I was racist then. It's nothing like that. But there's knowledge available now that's kind of crippling for humans, and there's ways of dealing with it that apparently I need to reinvestigate, I guess. But so yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening this year. The final things I want to talk about. Oh yeah, Call of Duty put out a they're called drops, but they're not drops. It's just shitty video. It's nothing. Doesn't make sense until you see the full VP, at which point it will make more sense. But yeah, a lot of people, what are they calling it? Call of Duty Disintegration, which is just the shittest name. That's not the official name. It's just the name that I've heard people dub it, and not community members dub it. It's just such a terrible name. Like, I just think I hated Call of Duty Ghosts, and I got it. Like, Ghosts, it makes sense, but people around me are calling it Disintegration now, and I really don't like that name. It's also more difficult than it seems to spell, and I think a lot of people would have difficulty with it, so I'm sure they're going to fix that. This is nothing to do with the official Call of Duty, by the way. I'm just saying that's the kind of fan name that's been given. But yeah, I'm not looking forward to that. The other people are calling it a viral campaign. I know viral campaigns. I've only been doing them for like 10 years with various companies. It's not a viral campaign. It is like specific drops of information. They aren't even teasers at this point. But yeah, that's another thing to kind of look forward to. And I get there's a song coming out called "And I Love the Hate," which hopefully will shed some light on some of that. Which the guy who wrote that is one of the sexiest people this side of Q8, and you know he's just a nice lad. You know, he makes, I'd say, relatively to okay tea. He has like headphones. He's alright, and I like that about him. You know, all of that, the tea, the headphones, the alright. He's okay, man. And the final thing I wanted to talk about is what's happened very recently, and which is why I want to talk about music videos at the end, which is that we've had an investment into Hurt Records. A big investment, which I was told to just spend it on making good music, basically, and that was how it was approached, and very, very thankful for such a large investment as well, because like it's, you know, it's a big deal, and it will help everything actually. So I'm not going to say how much it was, but things like I decided to spend it, and I haven't spent it yet, but I'm deciding to spend it, and I'm kind of making a budget. And I was thinking of what are the things that are the most crucial and the most annoying in terms of money to complete. And to be honest, mastering is vitally important, but it's also extremely expensive. Especially when you get good mastering, which a lot of people are now getting good mastering because they're realizing how important it is. I don't know why only now it seems to be making a comeback, but I've always loved Abbey Road as a mastering house, and you know, having my own stuff like Quiet One done there and portraits, I really appreciate how good and how much time they spend on these projects. So what you can do is prepay Abbey Road stuff. So I've had to kind of look at my calendars and think, well, what can I get done by what point so that I could buy a mastering day or a mastering session or a mastering track at some point in the distant future. So for example, Two Down with the Two Lost Boys. it was kind of like, you know, when are we actually going to get this done? When will we have the tracks back from mixing, and when will it be perfect? Because they're such big mixes. So this is why we're diarising and making calendars of everything now, because this is getting down to such a personal level. But I feel like it's important to let you know. And it's important for me to kind of mentally housekeep sometimes. So it's kind of calendaring everything and making sure that we get things done by this point. And, you know, there's also that kind of worry that you can overwork something, especially with things like Quiet One. Like, I can overwork Quiet One if I'm not careful. And, you know, the record, there's a version of a song called Come In that I spent maybe 3 weeks more on, and ended up going back to the original version of Come In, and using that and just mixing it a little bit more. Like, you can overwork Quiet One. So having fixed dates in mind, make sure you can't do that. You have to get it done by then, and those decisions you make are important at that period of time. It's not one of these kind of open-ended, oh, I'll just do it, bits here and there. It makes this feel more like work, which is really good. I know that sounds like it's not good, but actually it's really good, and those kind of stringencies are vitally important. Going on to music videos, that money hopefully will also help fund a few bits of equipment to make really good music videos on our end. You know, I studied that. I've always been was very interested in video. And now 4K is around. A lot of people have got 4K TVs. I feel like we could really push, not a lot of people, but I know a lot of my mates have. We can really push the envelope of what is considered quality now. And, you know, I like the idea of directing, storyboarding, coming up with casting lists and all that stuff. I like all of that stuff. And, you know, we've got Doonan around as well, who's good when it comes to that kind of stuff as well, organising stuff. But I like holding cameras. Like, I like doing that. It's kind of my joy. And so we're going to be making our own music videos. You know, we went down the route, before this money was invested to her, we went down the route of looking to production companies to make these music videos for us. And I realised, looking at their kind of show reels, that I could do this much, much better, and essentially for free, because, you know, I wouldn't charge myself, if you know what I mean. Like, it's my time, but I've got time, you know, hopefully. But, you know, I think we can make something really cool. There's one music video for a song called This Time Around that I have in my head, and I remember writing it down. It was a dream I had, and telling Callum immediately, like, I woke up and like rang him. I was like, I've just had this dream. I'm going to tell you it so you can remember it, almost like so that we don't lose it. And it's really cool. It's a really cool idea, and I'm so looking forward to filming it, and that'll be soon as well. And then Heartshot, I've just leaked the fucking single. The other single, I'm not going to call it anything, just Dogs is the name of it, with three O's. That is going to be more of a performance video, having Steve and us playing, which is really cool. Yeah, there's a few things we want to do, and I'm really looking forward to using a little bit of that money to invest into it's basically promotion for her. You know, it's all that stuff is vitally important. You know, in terms of video editing, this system is the best that I could have for that. You know, I've got a DaVinci Resolve, got full Blackmagic compatibility with the cards on the back. Obviously already got the Blackmagic production camera in 4K. So the money will go towards something called a Steadicam rig, and a moving dolly system, as well as a E-cam camera slider. It's like an 8-foot tripoded, fully automatic camera slider, so you can get nice panning shots and things like that. So we're going to be doing it ourselves, but with professional equipment. Like, I couldn't think of something better to spend it on, and that's going to last forever. Like, I've got one of the songs from Quiet One, the record, the EP, that's ready to kind of go. So Will, or you may know him as Wang Time's coming down this week to start editing the Two Down documentary here. And I said, look, we'll go out into the woods, we'll try out all this new equipment, and let's just record something live in the woods, one of these songs live. So by next week, you will have one of the new Quiet One songs, a live version of it, that's captured on this rig with the new mics. Well, not new mics, that I've already had the mics, but we've not used these mics in a music video capacity before. With the Steadicam rig, with the camera, all that kind of stuff. So hopefully you enjoy it, and let me know if you like the kind of quality. And yeah, I think it's a very, very good time to be alive right now. And it's so busy. It's just been amazing. This year has been amazing. To get the Two Lost Boys done, you know, considering we started Wrecking in January, to get it done by, what are we now? Well, we got it done like the 4th of April, something like that. Like, that's good. Considering the size of the album as well. That's good. We did well. And thank you so much for your support. Like, we can't say it enough, and we don't say it enough, but I think you know we really appreciate you guys. And it was so nice meeting some of the street team guys and all these Quiet One little events that are going on at the moment as well. I'm really, really, really proud of what people are able to do with their own kind of decision-making skills and their ability to care for others, because a huge part of Quiet One right now is War Child, and War Child is doing amazing things. And to see one of the Two Down Street team, a guy called James, did such amazing work. He set up like a coffee morning. You may have seen some of the socials about it, but he did so well. And it's like that kind of stuff almost makes me tear up, because it's like, it's Quiet One, so hopefully it gets a little bit of exposure. It's just playing it to a couple of his mates, doesn't matter. But the main thing is that it's in support of such a good cause. Like, and I want to support causes like that. I will send you albums, and if you sell them, you sell them. If you don't, you don't. And get some cakes in, have a nice cup of coffee with your mates. That's kind of what it's about. And sharing music was kind of always like that for me. It was kind of about being social with your mates, saying, look, I've just found this band. It's called, what was I listening to yesterday? Alien Ant Farm, who I didn't even know they still existed, who just put out an album earlier this year. Amazing album. I love that album. First song is called Yellow Pages. I love the guitar riff at the beginning of it as well. I was like, damn them, because I swear I'm like 30 weeks away from inventing that guitar riff. But like, it's amazing. You should definitely check it out. But that's the kind of thing, like, I would have known about that unless someone else mentioned the fact that they were still alive. Like, not alive, but as a band, alive. And like, Tim recommended like a new Rise Against album and stuff, who I haven't heard since, well, like 3 years now. But yeah, like, amazing stuff. And that's so important. You know, the kind of human word of mouth side of sharing music is so important. And you know, if Quiet One gets on that list somewhere, then that's really cool. And it's in the support of a great cause. And I'm so happy that James did that. There's a few other people planning on doing things like that as well. So, and if you are, then all you have to do is get in contact with me. I'm right here. So just come and talk to me, and we can arrange something. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully this enlightened you a little bit as to what's going on and gives you some sort of scope as to when things are going to happen. Anyway, cheers. Bye.